Welcome to the Unlock the Genius Within show. I'm your host, Jordan Tabano, former salesman turned alchemist and creative. And on this show, I'll be teaching you how to lead from the genius part of your consciousness so you can thrive both personally and professionally. Thanks for joining me today, and let's get into the episode. Welcome back to Unlock the Genius Within. It is episode, I'm not even going to try and guess what episode it is. I can't remember, but you are here, I'm here, and I am very grateful that you are tuning in today, guys. I was walking on this beautiful spring day, and it was like we're doing a podcast on a Monday, man. We've got to get back out there because I know there's been a lot of guests on the show recently. There's been we've had quite a few genius sessions. We've had 2 in the last fortnight. Interviewed one of my clients, Anna, on her recent success. So I've been quite busy, and I haven't had the solo focus that I usually like to have. But today, man, today is the day for it. So I am going to speak. Well, we are discussing, because I like to think this is a two-way conversation here. We are talking about innate wisdom as my laptop interrupts me with my screen time. It was 22% up. Yeah, because I've been busy, man. All right, let's continue. Yeah, so we're talking about how the ego is the gateway to our innate wisdom. So that's really the topic today. And I believe this particular subject in personal development has a lens of like you've got to break through your rational mind, through your limiting beliefs, through your emotions that don't serve you, in order to discover like your magic. And I used to teach that, actually. So let me just acknowledge that. Like, I used to be that coach where it's like, got to handle your shit and break through it so you can realize your heart. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that does serve people on a particular level. But how I go about coaching my clients and stepping into my heart and creating what I'm creating, I like to look at it, as you would have heard on this podcast, as a stepping out of the rational mind, the dysfunctional mind, and into my magic, my genius, my brilliance, the innate wisdom that I have, that you have, that everybody has. And that's it. That's a very important delineation, because when you try to break through something, what I've learned is, you're assuming that the dysfunction, the ego, the rational mind has the power. So as you're breaking through it, your subconscious is hearing, man, this thing has a lot of power here. So that relationship between your subconscious and your unconscious and all the patterns that come from that, it strengthens, because you're used to tuning into it. It's like, oh, only if I can get past this big thing, I may just discover my genius. And I know for me, that's why I went on the healing journey. It's why I studied so many like emotional belief breakthrough things. And now I don't use any of them. I mean, I take my cold showers. I do my breath work to open up the channels, as you say, as I've said on my other episodes. It's important to have the channels opened up so you can feel the genius emotion. But I'm not interested in breaking through my dysfunction. What I am interested in is understanding it so I can step out of it. And we're going to really talk about that today. So, if you're in a dark place at the moment, if you're running a business and you've got problems going on left, right, and center, you're just stressed. Oh, I don't know what's happening in your world, but my intention is to serve you with, giving you some guidance on how you can step out of it. So today we're getting into a little bit more of the how-to of things. So, and I'll also preface that the stuff I'm about to share with you, this is very powerful stuff. This is incredibly magical the way it works when you apply it, and particularly when you keep at it. I remember when I first started learning about alchemy and genius and tapping into my intuition to really get the messages from this higher place. At first I was like, this doesn't work. I'm getting stuff, but it's not making me feel any different. And that was when it was really hardcore was when I was in Byron Bay, when I used to live out in Ocean Shores up there. And this was throughout COVID, just before I went over to Bali. And man, it was just like, this doesn't work. I'm not feeling any better, right? And so I love impersonating how angry I used to be. I still get mad, don't get me wrong, but it's funny how like stuck and like how deep my feet were in the mud. So yeah, but that happened because my assumption was what I see in front of me is how things are, and I really want to start there with you guys. You want to have the assumption, if you're serious about connecting to your brilliance and your innate wisdom and everything, like you want to have the assumption that what you're seeing in front of you right now, you're not seeing the whole picture. There's a whole world out there that you're not seeing. Like, how brilliant is that? Like, you can actually assume that about yourself and I'll tell you why that's a very important thing to go with. You will only see where your focus is at in your consciousness. If your focus is on like your rational mind, your unconscious, and that's all that it's pointing to. It's like, yeah, I went and got my coffee from the same cafe yesterday, so I'm here again today, and that's how it felt yesterday, so that's how it's going to feel today. And I had the same damn thoughts when I said yes, long black please, and then off to work. That you are in your rational habitual pattern, which is from your unconscious, because your ego's like, and your ego will orientate you there and say, this, so you are safe, you're good here, you're chill, right? That whole script that I read you, that was me, like most of the time, like earlier this year. It's just like, yeah, same cafe, same time, same bat channel, same bat man, same bat channel. I think that's how they used to say it. It's how the ego says, you're here and you're safe because I know that you've done this before and nothing happened to you. You were cool. But you know what's amazing about this? Like, I don't know, I get excited when I think about it. There's a whole world out there that if we chose to not know things, if we chose to step out of the rational mind, we will just see it all differently. And I'm telling you guys, it works. It works, man. It's crazy. Like, and I'm actually going to take you through a visualization process today to help with this. But when I started assuming there is a whole world out there that I can't see, and it automatically took me deeper into what I teach and the work that I do on myself. So connecting into my genius, man, I'm telling you, I started getting out in that same Westerfolds trail that I take every day out in Templestowe where I live. And I started smelling the environment around me different. My nose was picking up on a different scent. How wild is that? I'm like, dude, have I been here before? I don't think so, right? It was the same place, but I was smelling it different. I could see things differently. I was paying more attention to the trees around me. And I'm like, man, I didn't realize this tree looked that good. Or, the people, the same people that I would see every morning, right? Never said hello to me, just in their own head. And so was I, right? And even at times back then, I'd even try and talk to them. Hey, g'day, mate. They'd walk by, they wouldn't give me any attention. But now, this morning, right? Oh, I got the biggest fright of my life. I'm walking, I'm still half asleep, whatever. And the same couple that I see every morning, right? They've started saying hello to me. But this morning, it was like this big booming voice. They're like, g'day, mate. They were so excited to see me. And I was like, shit. Oh, shit. Sorry. Hey, how's it going? And I'm thinking, freaking hell. Like, I've been walking this same trail like every day for months, nearly. Well, a month is actually playing it down, like 2 years. And we've only started talking to each other the last 2 months. Now, why is that happening? I don't believe it's just because it's spring. Well, spring could probably have something to do with it, but I don't believe it's just because of that. I truly believe it's because my mind now is seeing the world differently, right? And I'm going to get to the second thing, which we'll talk about connection in a moment. But there would have been a message from my rational mind where it's like the same way, and this is how it feels, that would have had some assumptions around people just don't people are hard to connect to. I'm separate. There would have been a whole lot of beliefs that were taking me away from others and just making my life more of an individual experience instead of like, hey, I'm part of this all with everyone else here, man, and I'm connected, right? I know one of my dysfunctional beliefs is when I really get into it, it's like I'm invisible. People don't see me. And just even talking about ego popped up, fed me something in my chest there. But like, it's true. When I'm in my shit, I really think I'm invisible to people. And yeah, I've alchemized that, man. And now it's like wherever I go, people are noticing me. The most wild thing happened last week. Yeah, I went to a networking event. I haven't been to a networking event in a long time. And when I walked in, I'm introducing myself to everyone. Conversation's good, meeting new business owners and whatever. A few people came up to me and said, "You look so familiar." And I went, "Oh, really?" Yeah, and I've gotten that a few times. But like both of them said this, and they said, "Oh, have I seen you on social media through ads?" I go, "Look, I haven't been advertising, but I do a lot of reels." And they go, "That's where." Oh, shit, people are actually noticing my reels. Fucking hell. So that happened at one networking event, and I went to another one later in the week. The lady that checked me in, she had actually gotten online prior to the event and looked me up and whatever, and she goes, "Oh my God, I know all about you now." Now again, that you might be thinking, well, yeah, Jordan, that's just people doing research before you go to these events, so you feel welcome. I swear that most times when I've gone to places, people have not given me that reception. And now I'm just convinced it's like the subconscious is just getting the message. You can be seen. It's not an individual experience for you. And it's because I'm assuming there is a world out there that I haven't seen yet, even if I think I've seen it. So that's the first thing I want to give you. If you're going to connect to your innate wisdom and you want to step out of the rational mind, you first have to assume you aren't seeing things. You're not. In this room that I'm recording the podcast in here, there's stuff happening here that I can't see because I'm focused on you, obviously, and delivering something. There's stuff around the house that I can't see. There's people in this neighborhood that I think, oh, I see them every day. There's stuff that I can't see about them. And you know what's super powerful about this? We get into the second part. When you can assume that you're not seeing things, what have you opened up? You've opened up a structure where you can create a new reality. You can, because now you're seeing new possibilities. But before it was like, I know how things are. And I've got to break through my dysfunction. I've got to get rid of how things are so I can get a new reality. But the reality of that is you don't need to. You can just step out of it by saying, well, I'm not seeing the whole picture here. I'm not seeing it. And this is the beautiful part. When you know that you have a genius and you know that you have an ego, let's just call it that, right? The real words are we have an unconscious and we have a superconscious. But let's just keep it to words that we know. We've got a genius and we've got an ego. And when you know that you have these two parts, and you just assume it, I have these two parts of my consciousness, and whatever I'm focused on, okay, determines the picture I see. That's when you can just go, all right, well, I'm not going to break through my ego. It's there for good reason. It's helped me survive up to this point, survive and make it through this earth. Now I'm just going to reorientate and get on with my genius. And that's when you can start to create a new possibility. So what's two about? Step two here. You're assuming you're not seeing a world. Step two is about seeing dots that haven't been connected yet. Okay, that's where you really start to connect to the new reality, the possibility of it. And man, I tell you, sometimes, not sometimes, usually it's so simple. It's so simple, and it blows my mind every time I get a message from a client of mine or someone that listens to the podcast. They go, "Dude, I tried that meditation, and oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe what happened the next day." And I go, "Mate, that's brilliant. I'm so happy for you." But I'm telling you, I'm actually not that surprised how simple it was to get over that scenario that you had in your business or to repair that fight you had with your partner. It really is that simple. Why? Because we're outside of how things were and we're seeing these dots haven't been connected yet. And there's two elements to that. There's two elements that I've seen. When you're able to see it, okay, see the dots that haven't been connected, and you're able to go about connecting them with a genius emotion in your body, man, magic starts to happen. I am telling you, man, I have tried to create magic in my coaching before, man, for many years. Even when I was running my sales agency, I was doing sales coaching. And I knew what I was talking about, but my clients, man, like they would get results for a short period of time, and then they'd be on to the next thing, and it wasn't magic. Like, hey, dude, what the fuck's happening here? Maybe I'm just not meant to be a coach. Total bullshit though, because in my body, what was the feeling? It was like I want to be a coach because I want to be recognized and you know get what's mine and all that kind of stuff. But that wasn't my truth. That was what my rational mind knew. Jordan, if you take this bait and you coach with this emotion in your body, I know that you're going to survive because I know that you're going to continue thinking, how can I help people get better results? How can I do this? And you're safe thinking that. You're safe to continue thinking about it and continue researching, doing all the courses. And it's like, oh, so frustrating. But now, oh man, I love my clients, dude. Like they are so cool because they take action, and it's like, what's changed? So obviously, I'm attracting a new audience, which is great. But also, there's a different emotion in my body when I'm coaching people. There's a completely different emotion, and it's that of spark and energy and magic. I know that sounds like a bit out there, but it's true. When I'm coaching people now, I'm really there and I'm like, man, what is the genius of the person sitting in front of me? Like, what's their genius? And when that start when I'm coming from that place, I start to connect dots that I never used to be able to connect. And because I'm connecting those dots, obviously my clients pick up on that, and they're out there applying it and getting amazing results, and it's so good. And I hope I can transfer or infer, whatever the right word is, that to you through this podcast as well. So, but there's those two components are very important. You know, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. And your ego will go, that's not real. Don't do that. That's too easy, right? It'll start. That's too easy. It's not meant to be like that. Go back to how you know it. You got to be trained in going, no. I see you there. I know how you talk to me. And then you go and you come out with the emotion of your genius. And it's really a thing, guys. You got to know that sucker. You got to know that emotion of your genius, because when it's there, whew, you can't stop. You're really being driven by something that is so much bigger than you. I'm telling you right now, you really are. Like it's so incredible. So that's the second thing. You connect dots that you didn't connect before. Now, the third thing that you really want to go off, okay, these are a lot of assumptions, but these are also practical steps. If you're assuming there's a world that you haven't seen and you're going for dots that you've never connected to, you haven't been able to connect just yet. The third step is you want to follow through regardless whether you know how it's going to come together and what the final product will look like. Okay? This has been one of the biggest mind-boggling things that have changed in my life over the last year. All right, so check this out. You know how like in personal development, clarity is like the biggest thing. It's like, dude, you need to be so clear. You need to see it all and feel it, and I'm for that. Like, you need to be clear, but there is a big change that I want to give you here. When you're working with your genius, you're only getting like a step at a time. You can't see the whole picture, even the vision. Like when you get the step to start pitching people the new business idea, or hiring your staff members, or, you know, if you're looking for a career change, start like talking to people in the industry, whatever the bridge is, the intuitive bridge. Okay, I'm not just talking about what your rational mind said because you read it in the book. No, your genius has fed you it. When you start to do that, the version of your vision at that action step, at that point of like level 1 of the journey, let's say there's like 10 levels, level 1 of the journey, the vision's only going to show as a certain thing. But then when you get to level 2, the vision might change a little. Level 3, it change. And by level 10, the thing pops up out of nowhere and you're like, holy shit, that's it. That's it. Now, was that thing the way it was at level 1? No, it wasn't. And the most powerful thing is, if you didn't have any expectations, the whole way of how the final product was going to look, you would get there faster. That's what I've learned. Okay, that's what I learned. It's the most amazing thing, right? So my what I'm creating right now in my coaching business, there's so much that I've like just got a feeling about, and it's moving, and it continues to grow and form in a way where I'm like, oh, this is going this way, I think. And then all of a sudden, something that I knew like a few months ago gets embedded, and it's like, oh shit, okay, that's connecting now. And it's forming and growing organically in a way that when it happens and when I see it, I go, of course that's it. But does my rational mind feel good about it? No, because I'm outside of my expectations of what it needs to be. So for you, like if you're running a business and you're wanting to grow, let's say, you still choose the end result of growth. You still use your intuition to compel action steps that'll geniusly guide you to the result. But you can't have expectations of how growth will look, because that's when you get into your rational mind. Oh yeah, growth looked like this last time and growth felt like this last time. But what if growth can happen a lot easier and more in your favor if it felt a different way and if it happened a different way? Yeah. So this is where you start to step out and you're like, no. It's not about how it looks. It's not about how it comes together. All that matters is that the end result that I've chosen from my genius comes to life, and when it appears, I will know it. You get it, right? There is a very powerful quote that Robert Fritz, I'm going to recommend his book in a moment. Robert Fritz, he's a corporate trainer that his background is in composing music, and he teaches the creative process that he formed through composing music to corporates to like get results. Phenomenal stuff. He has this fantastic quote that has really stuck with me, and I'm like, dude, that is so what I teach. Okay, all right. So I'm going to read this out to you, and then I'm going to recommend the book so you can go get it because it's a fantastic book. So, the artist who experiments with an improvisatory approach, there we go, process, may be unclear about how the final painting may look, but extremely clear of what he or she wants to express. In this sense, the painting itself is a part of a process. The final result is the power of the expression. Let me just repeat that, because that just really opened up a lot when I first read it. In this sense, the painting itself is part of the process. How it looks, what happens at the end, like really feel that, you know? But the final result is the power of the expression. So, okay, so this came out of The Path of Least Resistance. Go get it. It's a phenomenal book. Now, I know what you think. The Path of Least Resistance, Jordan. Like, is this just about doing easy shit? No, it's not. It's totally not about that. Go get the book and you'll see. All right, trust me, it'll change your life. But it's so true, because this is what genius is about. It's like, I don't know the full extent of what this huge part of me is going to feed me. But what I can assume is that I'm working structurally, and each action step that comes my way, each time I connect to my vision, I can just assume that my genius is feeding me what I need to know for now. So, and you can also, on top of that, you can assume that when the end result occurs, you will know that you have created it. You'll actually know that you're there. So, like the growth in your business, if you've got an end result that is really reflective of your business and your genius, yeah, and you're using the awareness of that vision with the awareness of your current reality, and you're getting the emotion, the action steps, and you take, you might not have any idea, and I would encourage that you have no idea on how that end result is going to look, and like how it will come together. You might have a spec, and you might have a bit of a sense of what's coming, but that's enough, because then you will be open to all of the magical and effortless ways that this beautiful thing can come to life. And then when it happens, you will know it. You can just assume it. I've had so many experiences like this, guys, seriously, where I'm like, oh my God, that just happened in my business. That client that I've seen in my vision, they've landed. That place that I wanted to go travel to, here it is. And everything that I experienced, it's here, right? And it's happened because I've been in that orientation of, hey, how it looks and how it comes together doesn't really matter at all. Okay. So that's number 3. When you can let go of all that, you are flying. Yeah. Okay. Now 4. And we'll wrap up the podcast here. I'm having a lot of fun today talking. You want, okay, it was volatile and now it just left me. Okay. Did it leave me? No, it didn't. No. Number 4. So you've let go of all expectations, and now you're moving. And now you're moving. The last thing that you want to, here it is. The last thing that you want to assume when you're stepping out of your dysfunction to connect to your innate wisdom, what will really, like, you know, allow you to go there is that the tension of you being where you are and you seeing what you want, just that distance, that tension, that will create the result itself. I want you to just listen to what I just said there. Like, people think, oh, this manifestation thing's bullshit. It's not, okay? It's not. Because listen to the power of this. When you do not make the distance of where you are to where you want to be mean anything, and you just allow that tension to be there, okay, that tension's got to resolve. Okay, Robert Fritz talks about this in his book. Okay, the way I talk about it, and us in alchemy, the way we teach it is, your current reality is here, your vision's here. That has a structural tension of its own. It's got a tension of its own, and it needs to resolve in the direction of the end result that you're really wanting to compel. But when you start to allow your ego to interfere and judge all the distance, and how it's not happening, and why you're going off on a different path, and how there's no evidence and all that, when you're allowing that to come in, that's when you experience emotional tension. Now, emotional tension is different to structural tension. Emotional tension is when you get stressed, anxious, sad about what's happening, and this is very real, and you can expect that it'll happen. Okay, this is a thing. You expect that it's going to come up, but the mastery is in having the assumption, hey, I don't need to know. There's a whole world that I'm not seeing out here. I don't even need to know how this is going to come together. I don't even need to know the final form of it. all I need to assume is that if I don't respond to my emotional tension and I just allow this structural tension to sit, I will be geniusly guided towards the end result itself. Okay. Now, why this is super powerful, if you don't respond to your stress, to your stories, to your beliefs and your emotions, okay, you will magically create what you want. But if you respond to your emotional tension, your ego is going to take you on a different path. Okay, because the emotional tension is not the same as the structural tension. The emotional tension is going to take you this way. It'll get you going after a goal that, you know, your ego's like, that's more achievable, or that makes more sense, or this is the easier way to grow the business. And it's all backed by familiar emotions of the past. And it's just not in favor of your brilliance. Okay. So the last assumption that we have, structural tensions in play, as long as I'm going for what's true for me, what my genius, what my innate wisdom is guiding me to go for, I can assume that the structural tension, the distance between where I am, vision, I laughed because my hands weren't, I love like using this as a visual representation. I can assume that it's just going to take me there. It's just going to take me there. And that structural tension, here's the thing, it will give me action steps that are in favor of growth, that are in favor of genius creations instead of survival. It's huge, guys. It's huge. It really is a massive, massive thing. And this is why it's so important. And you'll see it on the genius sessions when I coach people through their conundrum. They're trying to resolve emotional tension. You know, you would have seen on the last 2 episodes, it's all emotional tension stuff. It's got nothing to do with structural tension. And then you see, we get them to step out of the dysfunction. They're like, oh my God, there's a whole new thing here, right? Okay, that is it for today. So guys, there were 4 things that I covered, 4 things. When it comes to stepping out of your dysfunction to realize your innate wisdom. I'm going to attempt to remember them, but if I can't, just go back and listen, because this was I know there was a lot of gold here. The first thing is, okay, the first assumption, you want to be assuming that you can't see the whole picture, that there's a whole world out there that you're not seeing. Okay, that's where it really starts. The second thing, okay, it's about connecting dots that you haven't connected before, but with the emotion of your genius. Okay, the emotion from your essence, from that powerful you that was there when you, before you became this, before you became, you know, the physical form. That emotion, okay, that's how you want to be creating, because that's what's going to really spark the magic and the momentum there. The third thing, you want to let go of how the final result needs to look and how it'll come together. Very, very powerful, because then you'll be able to really go on the quickest path, the magical path to creating what you want instead of the hard path. And then the fourth thing, okay, is that you want to respond to structural tension, not emotional tension, not how you feel about where you are. You want to be geniusly guided about where you are to where you want to be. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. If you have not subscribed, do it now. Subscribe, share this episode with a friend. I really appreciate all of you listening. And don't forget to tune into the Genius sessions. Each fortnight, I run a coaching session with a guest that has applied to be on the show. And we go over challenges that they have in their business or their career, and we go through stepping out of their dysfunction, the ego, into their genius, so they can create the results that they want. So that, make sure you're tuning into that, because that's where you'll actually get to see all of this great stuff in action. And if you are ready to take the next step and do some work with me, there are a few ways that you can do that now. There's the one-on-one coaching program that I run, where I help you actually tune into your genius, realize it, see it, understand it, and then really put it down on paper into actual things that you go for. And throughout that journey, once we've crystallized that on what those things actually are, I coach you on staying in the magic of it, and creating it with the magic, creating it with the emotions of your true nature instead of your dysfunction. And that is by far my favorite thing to do. So if you want to apply to be a part of that, there is a link in the show notes. And also, there's a second program here specifically for business owners out there that have sales teams, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm actually teaching salespeople how to use their brilliance, their genius orientation in selling to naturally influence customers. So if you are interested in having this magical orientation, this powerful way of creating interjected into the way that your salespeople sell, reach out. Okay, book in a call, because I'm telling you right now, we're ready to cause a massive revolution in how people sell. Because when you do this, when you use this stuff on the phone or face to face, in terms of influence, man, things go to the next level. All right, that's it from me. Hope you guys are well, and we will chat soon. Hey, if you've been enjoying my podcast, I have a special opportunity for you that you may be interested in. I've just started a new segment called the Genius Sessions, which is dedicated to coaching my guests through challenges that's stopping them from bringing their genius visions and ideas to life in their professional career or their business. And right now, you have the opportunity to apply to be a guest on this show. So if you're interested, head into the show notes, click on the application link and fill in all your details. If you've been successful, I'll reach out to you over email and we'll book in a time to record the episode. Apart from that, thanks for tuning in today, and I look forward to connecting soon.